you refer to yourself as the Body Paint King, or do people refer to you as the Body Paint King? Is this something they call you, the Body Paint King?
Well, I named myself the Body Paint King before. I basically went through different names ever since I was started painting T-shirts. You know, I was, before I was like, when I first started painting clothes, I called my stuff Achieve. Then I changed it to Achieve Sport. Then New Balance started putting Achieve on their shoes, so I just ended that. Later on, I started calling myself Ed Casso because of Ed and Picasso, the artist. Then I worked for a clothing line called Moschine, and you know, Moschine was the biggest people to do hand painting on clothes, and I attached myself with them being one of their main artists and said Ed Moschine. I moved then near the end of Moschine, when I was about to move to Atlanta, I renamed myself The Artist Ed, and anytime I was in the club, this is around the time I was body painting too. When I was in the club, everybody, instead, if I introduce myself as The Artist Ed to the DJ or something like that, they'll be like Ed the Artist. It sounded more grammatically correct, so people kept on saying it. I just switched it and said Ed the Artist, and it sounded better to me anyways. And then, you know, I don't know how, one day I was like, Body Paint King, Ed the Artist, Body Paint King. So.
Do people call you more Body Paint King than Ed at this point, or do they refer to you as Ed instead of Body?
It depends on the person. If it's people that I don't really know, not my friends, and just associates and people from the club and stuff, they call me Ed the Artist or Body Paint King. Mostly Body Paint King now.
Now, explain this body paint stuff. Okay? If people have seen some of your work before, what is the purpose of doing all this? Is it a hustle to make money, or is this actual art? Like, you just want people to see your art? Explain.
So, in the beginning, let me start from the beginning of how I started body painting. In the beginning, like I said, I worked for this company called Moschine Originals, a clothing company from back in the days. Probably the most original clothing company ever created, because we did all one-of-a-kind custom stuff in mass production. We used to do in-stores with our with retailers that sold our clothes. So one retailer in Nashville wanted to do an in-store with us for their 1-year anniversary of their store opening. We went there. It was me and 2 other artists. We did the in-store during the day. First, we customized shirts for customers and stuff. And for the after party at the club, they wanted body paint. So that was my starting point for body paint. Me and the 2 other artists, we body painted in the back of the club, in private. And we were finished with the girls. We brought them out to the club, in front of everybody, and everybody in the club went crazy over the girls. So I told myself, maybe I should start doing this on the side, because, everybody, a lot of people like art, everybody love women. Put the 2 together, can't lose. So at the time I was living in Philly, I'm actually from D.C. I used to commute back and forth to D.C. every weekend. Go to D.C., I started doing body paint in the clubs, and it took off from there. I created myself to be like the #1 guy in D.C. doing body paint, and I was making money from it. I started making money on the side from it, and my name spread fast, and that was around the time I started traveling back and forth to Atlanta to do marketing for Moschine and putting clothes and music videos and stuff like that, and doing artwork for music videos. I built relationships in the industry in Atlanta, and then eventually, of course, Moschine died out, and I told myself I was going to move to Atlanta and become a celebrity body painter. I basically I told myself I was going to create myself to be a celebrity body painter, because nobody else was known for that. So I was like, I'm going to be that dude. So I pretty much moved to Atlanta and did that. And I made a good living from it. I've been making a living ever since. Just body paint itself, I make a living. So
when it comes to the art, is this something you went to school for?
I didn't go to school for art. I actually went to community college a couple years for business, but I took art history, but we didn't learn how to paint or anything. It was just the history of art. I was always a good artist in school. Like my first couple years in high school and stuff, I took like advanced art and stuff like that. I don't think I'm the greatest artist. I feel like I'm more of a creative than like a person that could paint a portrait. I'm more of a creative person that turns something from nothing.
Kind of interesting how you describe yourself as this, but then you become one of the lead artists at one point for Moschine Originals. Mm-hmm. You would think that somebody from Moschine Originals would be like somebody that went to art school, knows all about the art, this is their trade, this is what they do, this is their thing. Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound like that was you.
No, I don't want to say neutral, but okay, so when you had Mesquite and we had about probably 25 to 30 hand paint artists. Half went to School of Arts. You know, they were going to school for art. You know, like Philadelphia School of Arts, or like, you know, they went to FIT or something. And the other half were like really known graffiti artists in Philly. It was most of the people that I work with, since the company was based in Philly. Most people were, you know, from Philly. So I was the person that just was good at painting T-shirts, you know, because I started doing it in high school.
At this point, are there other celebrity body painters, or are you the only one in this field?
Well, there's probably body painters. I think they're celebrity body painters, but let me tell you this: they came from me. I created a lane for them to make money. What the crazy part about it is they don't show me that respect though. Like, they trying to compete with me, you know. So,
have you collaborated with any other body paint, celebrity body paint artists, or no?
No, I haven't collaborated with them. Like I said, if they came to me correct, I mean, it'd be more if they're like coming under my wings. They wouldn't be on my level. I wouldn't collaborate with them. I wouldn't put myself, parallel with them.
Have you ever had a protege?
Yeah.
You have?
I mean, she calls herself my protege. I mean, she's getting this girl in Baltimore. She she's looked at my work copy. The thing about it is that I don't know how I really feel about this situation, because she copies my work pretty much. I mean, you could say somebody is inspired, but a lot of the work she does, is my work, you know. Especially when it comes to certain like styles of art, like my abstract, like this color block type of style I've done on girls, you know. She's taken that and put it on girls and try to make it her own, and I can't really respect that completely, you know.
Well, that's not really a protege. A protege is somebody you put under your wing, and you kind of mentor them, and you teach them the game and how to do this and how to do that. That, what you described, is not really a protege. That's somebody inspired by you or trying to duplicate you or copy you, maybe just a hustle for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So no, she is not. No.
So she's not officially a protege.
No, she's not.
So you've never had a protege then?
No.
Okay.
I should have, though. I should have created one. I should have had one, but you know.
Now, when it comes to this body paint stuff, can anybody do this? Or do you have to be skilled at it?
It depends on what the assignment is. I mean, like, a lot of stuff that I do that pops, like glitter and stuff, or like, you know, certain things people are able to do as long as they know what to use. They figure out what type of material to use and everything. But some of the things, they have to actually be a real artist. Like when it comes to line work, or, you know, color placement, color usage, like, you know, what colors to use and everything. You have to be somewhat of an artist to do something like that, because even with artists, like, there are artists that are really good, talented artists. They start body painting, they don't know how to body paint, because it's a whole other medium. You know, it's just not the same thing.
So then, how did you specifically learn how to body paint? Was it you just experimenting, or did somebody show you how to do it and then you just took it from there?
Well, I actually took the style of Mesquite, the stuff that we were putting on our clothes, and applied it to the body. And then I started practicing with that more and more. And I got comfortable with the body and the anatomy and everything. And I just, you know, it's easier for me to paint it got easier for me to paint a body versus a canvas or a T-shirt, because I did it so much. I got used to the curves and everything. And yeah, I mean, it just took practice.
It was not something you looked up on YouTube and saw a tutorial and started doing it and...
No. After the fact, I've looked up different things just for ideas and stuff, but as far as learning how to put the brush on and, you know, stuff like that, no.
Now, what makes a good body painter? I'm sure there are bad ones out there. What makes a good one?
See, the body paint field is so open, it's so wide, because, you know, you have the body paint world where you have body paint festivals, and you have body paint where you're doing prosthetics and adding wings and all types of facial stuff, and, you know, where you're covering the whole entire body. But then you have some of the stuff that I do more of, you know, apparel, or, you know, like abstract or concept building, you know, like, you know, just cool, like high fashion stuff. It all depends on what you do, you know.
I see. Now, when it comes to you and it comes to body painting, you're freehand doing this stuff? Are you stenciling this stuff? How does that work?
90% of the stuff I do is freehand. I have used a projector just to make my job faster, because it's commercial work, just to make my job faster. I mean, I could do it freehand if I want to. It just eliminated time. Like I basically, had a limited time to do it. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and just trace it first and then do it like that. But most of my stuff is freehand.
And these body paints are safe on the body? They're non-toxic?
What's funny is that I used to use body paint that was not good for you. It wasn't body paint. I used to actually use latex. So when I used to do Meskene, when I was working for Meskene, when I was first body painting, the company bought some latex for us to use at this party in Nashville, and that's all we had to work with was this paint, and it's watery, and we couldn't get that much detail. So it was more like lettering and just like shapes and stuff. It wasn't like no detail work. And then I was doing that for a while, and then I was like, I started thinking to myself, I was like, maybe I should just take the latex and cover the entire body, and then I could put acrylic over top of it and do detail with acrylic. I started doing that. And then, some girls like kind of fainted on me because the latex actually covers your pores, and your body actually needs to breathe. And when you cover your pores, you're trapping toxins in your body, so that's not safe. It wasn't until this show called Skin Wars came out. It's actually a show on Game Show Network. I actually went to this body paint show here competition. I met one of the producers from the show, and I actually wanted to be on this show, audition for it. And she basically told me that latex and that acrylic is no-go. And she said, we use professional body paint. And she recommended stores in LA to go get these paints from. And I actually bought some and experimented with the real body paint. It's called cake paints. And I started practicing with that, and I got used to using that and comfortable. And ever since then, I haven't went back to latex or acrylic.
I see. And you're just using a regular old brush, or is it a specific body paint brush to do this stuff with?
I use all types of brushes. I can go to Michael's. Depends on what type of detail I want. If I want to fill in color, like a wide area with certain color, I'll use a wider brush. Detail stuff, I usually go to. I mean, you can go to MAC, or you can go to a body professional makeup and body paint store and get like one of the expensive brushes. But I go to like a beauty supply store where they sell hair and get one of the makeup brushes from there, and it works perfectly fine for me.
And when you work with a model to actually do the body paint on, you refer to them as a canvas.
Yes, canvas. Yep, Muse canvas.
How long does it take on average to do one of these body paint jobs, start to finish?
Start to finish, depending on what the design is.
Average time?
2 hours. 2 hours. If I'm doing something simple like glitter, it'll take me 20, 30 minutes to do a full body glitter, just because of the application I use. But detail stuff is like 2 hours.
What's the longest time it ever took you for a body paint job?
6 hours.
6 hours. And which one was this? Is this something we could actually see on your Instagram now?
Yes, actually, yes. I have actually a couple of different ones that actually took 6 hours.
What's the most popular one that people have seen that you could refer to in this interview that took about 6 hours? Or which model, so they could look it up?
What's one of my models? Her name is Minx. Yi Minx. YIMINX.
There you
Yes, I did a jaguar face on her and a jaguar face on her rear, and I did the stripes all over with her, and she's walking down the hallway.
And that took 6 hours.
6 hours. Yep.
Which was the hardest body paint job for you to do ever?
That is a good question, because nothing is really too hard for me. But that one was pretty deep. That was one of them.
Okay.
Because it's one thing of just painting a canvas and the canvas is still. There's a whole other thing when you actually have a human body in front of you and they have to stand up still, and I have to have them stand still so I could do the detail. So,
Out of all the body paint jobs you've done at this point, what's been your favorite one so far?
Still to this day, I love this one I did in Philly. It's not really a one that's really known to people, but it's one that I basically created a background. I took a backdrop paper. I cut up some poster board paper, colored poster board paper. I bonded it in different abstract shapes, and I laid the girl onto it, and I painted her and blended her into the shapes and into the backdrop. It's a white, silver, and pink look. and her hair. It looked like Nicki Minaj should have did this shoot for Pink November. You know, it's my favorite, but it's when she's blending into the background. I love the chameleon ones, like where they're blending into my artwork.
Now, out of all the body paint jobs you've done at this point, which one has gone viral the most?
That's a good question. It's between either the panda on the booty, or that was on, her name is Panda Supreme, or my model Shar, Love Shar. It's one that I did the letters all over. It's like love, faith, hope, art, dope, all that on, you know.
And out of all the jobs you've done, which one has been your worst job?
Worst job, it's actually the worst job the worst situation was when I was painting 5 girls in the bathroom in this club, and nobody was able to leave the bathroom until we were finished, and this was the only bathroom in the whole club. And one of the girls had to take a shit in the bathroom, and she did it in front of all of us. And I didn't know girls' poop stunk like this until this happened. So that was kind of a horror story right there.
That was back in the Mesquite days?
Yeah, it was back in the Mesquite days.
Now, when it comes to, I want to talk about these models.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when it comes to these models, you refer to them as Canvas's muse. How does it work? Do they reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? Explain that.
Okay, so a lot of you know, communication is through social media. So, you know, I market something on I post something new on Instagram, and, you know, it reaches new people or models that are already following me, and they reach out to me. I search Instagram sometimes. I look through Instagram like everybody else, and, you know, sometimes I see a model that's really unique looking. I might reach out to her, or I would collaborate with a photographer or work with a photographer, and he would suggest some models to me as well.
What about their following? What about their personality? Is it ever based on that, aside from just the unique look for you?
Personality, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to work with somebody that's, you know, just negative and just attitude and just doesn't want to do it. You have to have your mind in it too in order to get painted, you know, because it's going to be a headache for everybody. But personality definitely, following plays a big part. But at this point, I don't really. I care about if they have a following, especially if it's genuine followers. If they have a good following, good you know, good impressions and stuff. But I'm at a point where I want to take a model that has no followers and just an aspiring model and make them have as many followers or more followers than me and blow them up because of me, not because they already have followers. So,
has there ever been anybody you tried to reach out to and they denied you, and then at some other point of time they come back and...
Oh, yes, there's plenty of people. It's too many to name, you know. Way too many to name.
And is it vice versa, too? Is there people you've asked to do and they're like, no, I don't want it, and, you know, vice versa?
If I didn't
like,
want
is there somebody that's denied... Wait.
It's somebody that I denied.
Is there somebody you denied? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
And then now they're bigger for whatever reason, and now you come back to them like, hey, now it's time.
Yeah, it happens. It's happened before, yeah.
Okay. What about when it comes to charging? Do you charge these people, or is it just strictly like an art thing?
No, I charge. I definitely charge. Majority of the time I'm charging. And I rarely do free work. When people say people say it's exposure, I'm like, what's that movie? I'm like Bird Box.
Oh, with the blindfold on?
Yeah, with the blindfold. When somebody say exposure, or I don't care if it's 100 celebrities in there, you know, are they spending money with me? I don't care. I work with celebrities all the time. I've worked with so many celebrities, you know. It doesn't matter to me. I want to get paid.
Now, when it comes to your canvases, your muses, are all of them 100% naked when you do this body paint job on them, or do some of them have panties on or something like that of that nature?
It all depends on what we're doing. If we're doing photo shoots, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, they're nude in a photo shoot, unless they feel uncomfortable and they have to have something on. I'm not gonna stop them from being uncomfortable. So I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, I want them to feel comfortable. So I mean, if they're like, oh, I can't do it with being completely nude, I tell them that The reason why I rather them to be completely nude in a photo shoot is because it's, first of all, it's private. Nobody's gonna be around, and for the editing and for for the edited pictures, we don't want to see lines and stuff. It's for edit purposes. We don't want to see pasties. We don't have to edit that out. And it's a private shoot, so ain't nobody's gonna be exposed to anybody. It's not gonna be out there. As far as event-wise, we can't have complete nudity in the clubs most of the time. So I tell them to wear a thong, G-string, and then pasties sometimes because of the rules of the club. But I mean, if it was up to me in the club too, like I could make it look like they are wearing clothes. They're not naked. So, but I actually want them to, because it's too many like perverts and too many people like disrespectful guys in the club. So I'd rather them have something on, to be honest with you.
Maybe somebody that wouldn't be disrespectful at first, once they get to consuming alcohol or popping a pill or something, then they can become disrespectful, like you mentioned.
Yes,
especially in that nightclub setting.
For sure, yes. And I've had to be security guards a few times,
Now, when you reach out to them or they reach out to you,
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the concept you want to do? Do you ask them if they have a concept? Do they bring a concept to you?
When it comes to clients,
yeah,
a lot of clients, they know, some of them know exactly what they want. They see something on my page and be like, I definitely want this. I want it in a different color, or I want, But there's times, a lot of times, they just say, Ed, I want you to just have creative direction, just creative freedom, do whatever you want, make me look good. And then I go off their body and their shape, and I basically compliment whatever, how their shape is.
Now, when you do this job, are you ever under the influence?
No, I don't. I never drank or smoked in my life. So, I've been sober all my life. So, never popped pills unless it was prescribed. But never smoked weed, never smoked cigarettes, never sniffed coke, never drank alcohol in my life.
What about the muse or the canvas? Do they ever get under the influence when they do this?
They do, but I rather them not get under influence because they start acting unprofessional. They start, like moving around too much. I rather them be sober. If it warms them up in the beginning, just to warm them up a little bit, then they could take a couple sips or something like that. But I rather not, because sometimes they get out of character when they start drinking.
Now, when it comes to these body paint jobs, like you mentioned, especially when it's the photo shoot aspect, 95% of the time, I think that's what you said, they're full nude when you do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to working with the private areas, does it ever get awkward? Does it ever get uncomfortable?
Well, a lot of times, I mean, I've been doing it so long, for me, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. For the girl, there's cases where they felt a little uncomfortable because they're nude and they don't feel comfortable with their body and stuff. But a lot of them, most girls are insecure with their bodies. It doesn't matter how bad they are. They get insecure with their bodies. But once they're nude and I see them and I'm just normal and just painting them and they're just amused to me, they get more comfortable with me. And then they start getting a little extra friendly because I'm painting, like, girls naturally get turned on when you're touching them and stuff like that, obviously down there and stuff like that. So they flirt and they just react a certain way. It's never really bad. And I cover like, as far as the bottom area, I actually cover it with tape or some type of patch, so that area ain't exposed. So I don't want, because I do a lot of behind the scenes video too, so I can't have a nude lips out on my videos and stuff. So
they may get turned on when you do this stuff, but do you ever personally get turned on?
Absolutely, I'm a man. I'm a straight man. Absolutely, I'm definitely. But I mean, in the past few years, no. I'm so focused on muse. When I see it's a canvas to me, I might see she's beautiful, she's bad. But once I get in the paint mode, no, it goes straight art.
Now, when it comes to some of these muses, these canvases, these models, some of them are super bad that you do, right? Are they single when they come to do these jobs with you? Are they booed up when they come to these jobs with you?
A lot of the girls, they come, I tell them to come with a friend, or a lot of them come by themselves. I'd rather them not come with the boyfriend because it makes me feel uncomfortable because they're on, the boyfriend or whoever boo thing is on set. A lot of times they're they're like not really saying stuff, but they're staring and looking angry, and they don't really want their girls to actually get painted. So they're just like looking like staring me down or staring her down and just interrupting. You know, they're affecting my shoot. There's also girls there's these girls that are married and they get painted for gifts for their husbands. You know, like for Valentine's Day. You know, they'll do a Valentine's Day concept to gift their husband with a body paint. You know, like pictures and stuff like that.
Has somebody's significant other ever popped up on set? Because sometimes not every model that you do is straight. Some of them might be bisexual. Some of them might be lesbian. So when I say significant other, it could be their girlfriend that pop up, not necessarily a dude. But has any significant other ever popped up on set? You weren't expecting them, and it's kind of a different scenario now.
I've been in a situation where I went to this girl's house to paint her for this shoot, and I think her boyfriend may have been the photographer, and I left because he started tripping on her, and but I thought she had already worked it out with him, and I left, and they didn't even get to shoot or anything because they got into like an argument and fight and stuff, and you know, I wasn't aware of that, but that did happen. But he didn't come at me. I felt his energy, but he didn't disrespect me.
Have things ever gotten physical on a set you've done?
That's a good question. Not that I could remember. Maybe two girls. If I painted girls at a club and they might have got physical with each other, but no, I don't know. Never.
Has any of these body paint jobs ever broken up a relationship?
Yeah, my relationship. Girls I've dated had girlfriends. They said they were secure in the beginning and then they just couldn't handle it. Yes, they have for girls too. Yes.
Now, when it comes to these women, like I said, some of them they're very beautiful. Mm-hmm. You ever attracted to any of these muses, these canvases? Does anything happen after the shoot's done? Does anything ever happen romantically after this stuff's done? Well,
maybe not directly after, but I've definitely dated a few of my models before. I've definitely dated some models that I work with. You know, I'm a man. You know, I'm straight. I love women. You know, this happened. Yes.
Is that something you initiate yourself? Is that something they initiate?
Both ways. You know, it's funny because, you know, a lot of people are opportunists out here. Especially women. And, you know, whether it's a music video, whether it's trying to be on a song, or whether you're trying to get a free body paint shoot or a free photo shoot, sometimes girls, they offer themselves up for that. Mm. But there's times that girls, they have money and they pay for it and they still want to talk to me. And it just, you know, that's good. You know, that's a good thing, you know. But as far as, you know, these girls out here just smashing just to get free stuff like that, that's not really, you know.
When you do get into some sort of relationship romantically, maybe after, you know, a shoot, mm-hmm. Does that fall under the category of mixing business with pleasure or no?
Sometimes. I mean, yes, but with that, it's like if we worked under a corporation and it's no fraternizing, you know, then you can lose your job. But in a situation like this, there's no crime in, you know, wanting to date somebody that you paint or somebody that paints you or shoots you or, you know. People do it all the time.
Now, you've mentioned previously in this segment that you've lost a relationship before because of this stuff. Mm-hmm. How many?
Probably like two or three.
And these were serious relationships you had with people that...
Somewhat serious. Okay. I mean, you know, they somewhat serious. I mean, it wasn't like right away breakup. It just eventually, you know, fell off. They couldn't handle it.
Are you single now?
I ain't gonna answer that.
You're not gonna answer that. Okay.
Put me on the spot.
but I guess my next question to you is...
I'm dating somebody.
Okay, you are. Yeah. But I guess my next question to you is it hard for you to be in a relationship with somebody because of this gig that you do, the body paint stuff?
It's hard when they start tripping, yes. But you know, to somebody like me, if I'm body painting, if I'm doing a shoot or I'm going to a club and doing body paint at a club or something, whoever I'm dating is more than welcome to come with me. I have no problem with that, so.
And also, too, something that very recent has been going on is a Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a movement against sexual harassment, sexual assault,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Does stuff like that ever worry you?
I mean, it worries me when they spreading rumors, but other than that, no, I'm not really worried about it. When people come out saying crazy stuff, then it's like they better not put me on part of none bull crap like that, I'm not no R. Kelly or anybody, or Bill Cosby or anybody like that,
You also travel quite frequently.
Mm.
Is this by request, or do you pick these places to go do these gigs?
Fortunately, I've been blessed to being able to travel everywhere, and sometimes I get a client in another state, and they'll be like, I want to book you to come. I'll pay for your airfare. I'll pay for travel and everything, which I require. But then while I'm there, or before I go, I'll actually promote that I'm actually going to that city, and clients there would book me. I'll set up multiple clients in the city that I'm traveling to, so it works out. Anywhere I'm going, it doesn't matter where.
And aside from body paint, that's not the only thing you do.
No.
What else do you do aside from body painting?
I do clothes, which that's something I'm transitioning back into doing, which I'm going to mainly be doing is clothing, fashion, in the fashion world. And I do canvases, I've painted wrapped cars before. I'm just an all-around artist. Paint, shoes, everything.
You've also been painting in some celebrities' houses.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Blackson, Shad Moss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lil Bow Wow. He got me to do his crib. 2 Chainz. I've worked with a lot of different, pretty much, as far as set designs, Gucci Mane, Future, top people.
If somebody wanted to book you for any of these variety of things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
how do they get in contact with you?
I have so many ways to get in touch with me. I have my Instagram DMs, I have email, I have a business number, and I have a couple contacts, people you can go through to contact me. That'll talk, represent me and stuff like that. Non-official people, reps of mine.